Hello YouTube, and welcome to the first in what will hopefully be many short videos that I'm going to record to help teach you the Latin language. I first started learning myself about 4 years ago. I took an interest in it because I'm a medical student and a lot of medical terms are derived from Latin. And I quickly became really hooked on reading the stuff. I started reading a lot of Latin poems and Latin literature, and still am quite obsessed with it 4 years on. A couple of friends of mine have recently asked if I could give them some lessons because they also want to know how to speak it, and I figured rather than just teaching them individually, I'd start recording some videos, so they're welcome to watch it, and hopefully anyone else with an interest can watch it too. So let's begin. Okay, so I thought I would use the first episode in the series as an opportunity to give a general introduction to the language, some of the benefits of learning the language, and hopefully motivate you to want to learn it too. So why learn Latin? There are hundreds of pros to learning it. I'm going to focus on what I think are the three biggest reasons. So first of all, learning it gives you a deeper understanding of the world. It helped me with my medicine, but whatever your subject, be it astronomy, botany, etymology, biology, taxonomy, history, classics, archaeology, law, music, art, there's so much more you can understand about your subject if you have an understanding of Latin. Um, Secondly, you might want to read some of the most beautiful literature that's ever been written in the history of humanity, whether it be the speeches of the eloquent lawyer come politician Cicero, or the epic poems of Virgil, or the histories and memoirs of the ambitious, most famous Roman of all, Julius Caesar. And it's not even restricted to literature within the classical period. I mean, there's so much modern, or more modern, English literature that contains Latin phrases, Latin passages. You'll find them in Shakespeare, in Oscar Wilde's poems, in Shelley's Frankenstein, Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. If you're mathematically minded, you might want to read Newton's Principia Mathematica. If you're more religiously minded, you might want to read the surviving Latin translations of the Bible, the Vulgate. So there's so much out there to read. And thirdly, I think it helps you with learning a lot of other modern languages. So here we have a map of the Roman Empire at its peak. And we can see that the people that stayed on the Italian peninsula, their language eventually developed from Latin into Italian. Those that moved and lived in Britannia eventually started speaking English. Those that lived in Gaul, modern-day France, now speak French. Those that lived in Latin Hispania now speak a mixture of Spanish and some Portuguese. And towards the east of the Roman Empire, there are still surviving languages where people speak Romanian now. So you can see that from the one language, Latin, you have 6 sprouting languages. They're called the Romantic languages. And if you want to learn any one of these, then Latin's a great place to start. So I figured I would end each of these episodes with just a Latin phrase to memorize, and some interesting etymology, where words come from. So the first phrase I thought I would include is a very famous phrase. Most of you have probably heard it already, and it's carpe diem, seize the day. It was first used in a poem by Horace, and the word carpe has multiple translations. It's often translated as seize, but it can mean pluck, harvest, and joy. So carpe diem. Also, you might not know where the word candidate comes from, but it actually literally translates as white-robed, and you might not know what the correlation is. But many aspiring Roman politicians would bleach their togas using chalk to make them as white as possible and try and make them look appealing and to stand out. So originally the word candidus was the Latin adjective meaning white, and candidatus came to mean clad in glistening white robes. And then it eventually became any political candidate, and now it means anyone who's running in a competition, political or otherwise. So you can see with a little understanding of Latin, you learn much more about the words that we use in everyday life. So I think that'll be it for this episode. If you tune in next time, I'll be talking about the Latin alphabet and how to pronounce Latin. So thanks very much for listening. Hopefully you'll tune in again. Um, if you have any questions or suggestions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, till next time. Bye bye.